In a world where new viruses and illnesses/disorders are being discovered every year, scientists around the world have yet to find a cure or find the origins of many of these viruses or illnesses/disorders. Today we will be looking at a very particular disorder known as misophonia. Misophonia is a disorder that was recently discovered back in 2001. One of our colleagues who has misophonia here in our community college has agreed to speak about her disorder.
I'm Kathie MaCarthur. I'm 21. Misophonia is the fight or flight reaction caused by certain sounds and movements, normally by other people, are the triggers. Not much is known about it. It's not in the DSM-5, but there's been a lot more research of it over the past few years. No one knows what causes it. No one knows what part of the brain it's in. It's that a lot of things are tied together on association. There's been a lot of examples from when I was really young. Like, my mom would brush my hair and I would freak out. I didn't know why. I would be there crying, trying to hold myself together. It was just my mom brushing my hair. Lovely. Lovingly brushing my hair, and I would just be freaking out. I used to go to church every Sunday, and in there it was just an hour, to me, being like a 7-year-old, it was just an hour of waiting, and around me there were people moving around, fidgeting themselves, and then during like the singing portion I would hear my parents singing a sound that I should love, but I could just hear their breathing, and that really irked me, really irritated me. Some sounds that trigger misophonia. There's a lot. It differs from person to person. Some general examples that are really everyone with misophonia are breathing and chewing are like the two biggest ones. I think because they're so prominent in survival that they're happening all the time, so notice them more. There are a lot more examples, like for me, saying any specific trigger is really frowned upon with misophonia. Like, you'll see that in group chats on websites, comments to like, do not say triggers, because someone else with misophonia will see it and then notice it themselves. I can just give like a couple examples of breathing and eating. The worst thing that gets me is the movement of people's feet swaying or tapping. And triggers they'll really snowball. Like, it starts out just the sound of eating food and bother you, and then that turns into the sound of clinking dishes, because that's associated with making food, and then that turns into someone doing the dishes at home. You associate with the clinking, which you associate with the food. How did I first deal with this? How did I first deal with misophonia? When I was 6 and I didn't know what was going on, I don't know, tried to, like, while my mom's brushing my hair, I'm just trying to I didn't even know if it's the noise of her breathing that was bothering me. I was just trying to hold myself together. I didn't know I was supposed to plug my ears, because I didn't know it was the sound that was setting me off. But it wasn't until middle school that it became a daily thing of noticing the tapping feet of people. I think that just has to do with puberty and being in a new place, so it spirals more. But I remember asking my friends, hey, do you ever notice people's feet? They're kind of moving all the time. They're like, no, we don't know what you're talking about. And I just noticed it more and more and more. And over time, do things in the classroom, like just always be looking down is what I first did. Always be looking down on my paper and have an arm up to block anyone to my side, have my hair down to block anyone to my other side. If I'm lucky, I'm like walking through a hallway or just waiting, I can have my head up to avoid looking at anyone, but still stretch my neck instead of being hunched over. Something that I do a lot, I always carry earbuds with me, wireless earbuds, and like in the car, I'll always have, when I'm in the passenger seat in the car, I'll always have my left earbud in to block the breathing of the person to the left of me. It wasn't until recently, from high school through most of college now, I've always had one earbud in class. And it wasn't until this past year, due to COVID and classes growing smaller, that I've actually stopped having an earbud in my ear in class. I'm really proud of that. I always have them in case I need them. But less people in the class means they're further away and less to watch out for. And I like that in classes. I can focus a lot more because of that. With my friends though, people I've met after I've realized I have misophonia, I can tell them that I have it, and they will do their very best to keep from making movements and sounds, and I really love them for that. They protect me from other people, like they'll sit by my side in class so that they're blocking others, and they won't eat food, or they won't eat loud food around that. They won't eat loud food around me. I really appreciate that. Any advice I can give to kids, teens, adults who have misophonia? Don't dwell on it. Dwelling on it, constantly thinking about it, and you can do your best to not do that. Then you can have less associations with it. So I've been to like a couple misophonia conventions. I've been to a couple people who specialized in misophonia, and I've been to someone for biofeedback, and that was what was most helpful, I believe. It's something that I subconsciously do now, but biofeedback is just learning how to relax your body, so I don't see a movement and instantly I don't see someone breathing and punch them, though that is my instinct. So biofeedback has been what has helped me the most with withstanding misophonia. So I would recommend that for people struggling too. Recommendations for people on dealing with someone else who has misophonia. I would say help them. Know that you're helping them when you ask what you can do to not bother them. The biggest thing that my friends do for me is they help me feel safe, and that's what a friend should do, I think. I like to make it clear that my parents love me and I love them, and even though I'm scared of them because they breathe and they eat food and they do all sorts of things with their legs that they tap, they keep still around me. It sounds weird, but they do their best to be quiet breathing around me, and we don't eat together. I eat in my room. Yeah.
Katie now is a community college student and hopes this documentary helps informs others about the disorder. Misophonia. and how it affects its victims and the people around them. Thank you all for watching.